I definitely want to thank everyone for joining me. My name is Todd Murphy, CEO of Universal Information Services. I'm here today with Kim Carmen, our Client Relations Manager.
Hi, everyone.
We're also joined online by a couple of our other managers, Ben Caldwell, our Sales Manager, and Jean Saucier, our Business Development Manager, are auditing today's course to give me and Kim some specific feedback. So it's nice to have everyone. Actually, today's webinar, the largest attended webinar for Universal Information Services. We've had an astounding turnout for today's session. So there's a couple things we're going to do, maybe to make sure we move quickly through the session, but also address any questions that people may develop during the session. I'm going to start off by giving a little background on what AlphaClipse is, why we developed it, and then we're going to get into the demonstration to show you, who are primarily our subscribers, our clients, those who are currently using our services. We want to show you how it works. So as I mentioned, the response to our AlphaClipse development has been amazing and frankly very exciting for me. One of my core jobs at Universal is research and development. We announced the development of our AlphaClipse service to our industry, the media intelligence industry, last October in Berlin, Germany. Many of the attendees there who make up the largest media monitoring and measurement services from around the world were probably the biggest shock to them was that we were able to develop and deploy this in just over a year's time. So that was kind of a good milestone for us to see that A, we're the first in the world to apply artificial intelligence to news monitoring, and B, we're currently the only news monitoring service in the world showing the origins of your news. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I wanted to mention these points as an example of our commitment to providing the fastest access to news and using the most innovative tools. These are things our competitors currently can't do, and quite frankly, we're pretty proud of it. I also want to underscore the fact that as a subscriber of Universal, we never want to get complacent. We never want to relax. We never want to feel that our clients are happy and content with any of our legacy services. Innovation is part of our core mission and is built into our core values. So why AlphaClipse? Well, alpha is translated into origin. Alpha means origin. AlphaClipse means the origin of shared news. We've used that to apply to this service that we've developed. By combining your press clipping coverage with comprehensive web monitoring, we can do some special things with our media monitoring and tracking and delivering your media exposure. The primary thing is, since most shared news that's being tweeted or shared on Facebook or amplified across any social network, most of that tracks back to a link on a newspaper website, a television, a radio website, or even an online website. We can find the earliest occurrence of a media mention on a daily basis and then cluster other like or similar stories under that earliest mention. So rather than send you syndicated or wire stories as represented as an equal or separate article, we can roll up all those similar articles under the first occurrence that we find each day. This is part of what we do to make it quicker for you to digest the data. The clustering technology behind that, which is built on, it's one of the three, one of the three legs to the stool of our artificial intelligence, is that clustering technology. It lets you see the top level media mention, but also immediately access those additional stories that amplified the reach of this specific mention. So for example, on the screen right now, you'll see the primary alpha clip, which is a story from the Sioux City Journal, was also found in one additional outlet. Now, it could have been the SiouxCityJournal.com, or it could have been another newspaper that's owned by the publishing group that owns the Sioux City Journal. But this is how we can cluster these stories on a daily basis, and we'll show you more examples of that in a little bit. Our AI engine also lets us intelligently summarize your news stories. This is where the real time savings can occur for our clients and subscribers. This reduces the time it takes you to read and understand a story by up to 75%. In other words, if you normally take an hour to digest your media exposure, for example, if you imagine the legacy press clipping reports you've been receiving over the last 8 years, we list every story and then you can click on the link and read the story. By intelligently summarizing, we're not providing all of the text anymore at that first layer of your newsletter. We're showing you in that alpha clip 2 or 3 bullet statements that basically lets you, what maybe took you an hour before, reduce the amount of time to review results to 15 minutes. Based on your search strategy, we're going to provide 2 or 3 bullets that focus on what is identified as just the key elements of your story. Then the benefits of alpha clips can also extend beyond your use. The first 3 things I mentioned relate to how you, the professional communicator, the PR professional, how you're using our data, but it can also extend to others within your organization, executives, other stakeholders. It'll allow you to share information with them, and they can more quickly review the key news that you've determined they need to see. Bottom line, all of our services now get more news to you and your key people more quickly, and the overall goal is to make it easier for you to use. I want to be careful to really underscore, when we make things easier to use, we're not diluting or removing any data. If anything, we're finding more information for you now. We're finding it more accurately. We're delivering it much faster. But with all of those mores I've mentioned, we also have to be able to make it more easily digestible for you, because I know as well as you don't have any additional time in your day. So making you work more quickly and efficiently is a primary goal. Before we get started with the demo, which Kim is going to do quite a bit of the driving on, I just want to point out a couple of housekeeping items. Because we have so many attending today's webinar, we're going to keep everyone on mute. A large number of people all asking questions at the same time would make it very difficult for us to hear what was going on. So you'll be on mute. However, to make it easier for you to ask questions, you'll notice in the lower left-hand corner of your screen is a chat box. You may need to turn on the chat, but it should be there. Let me just double check. Okay, yep, it's enabled. And in that, it might say participant feedback or chat, Q&A. You can type your questions there. I want to be careful, make sure everyone knows that as a question occurs to you, if you're anything like me, it's better to write it down before you forget it 5 minutes later as we move through the session. So put your questions in the chat box. We will come back to them at the end of the demonstration and make sure we answer everybody's questions. Now we're going to switch over to a live demonstration of the AlphaClip system. There's many components to it. There's the newsletter, there's the desktop interface, and there's the mobile application. But there's no expert here at Universal greater at driving and showing this than Kim Carmen. So Kim, take it away.
Thank you, Todd. So I'm going to just run down a few of the highlights of everything, the application, the news clips, and then also our mobile app. So right now you should see on the screen is a sample of our newsletter that goes out. You should see this coming through right now. We're seeing both our legacy report and the AlphaClip newsletter out together, so you can kind of get a feel of the difference between the 2 of them. When you receive the reports, it provides the pictures of the stories too, allows you to click on it just like it does when you have your actual regular emails for your legacy emails. It gives you the name of the source, whether it's a website or a newspaper. It gives you the date, and then it also gives you the title, and then those few bullet points that Todd was talking about before. After you have that, you go ahead and you can also click View Clip, and which will allow you to actually view the clip itself. As a client, you have the access to log in to dig deeper into the AlphaClip, but you are able to share these reports with your fellow teammates or with your clients directly.
So Kim, if we look at this is an example of an AlphaClip.
Yes.
And because on the left side it says log in with your universal credentials, this is potentially what it would look like if one of our clients shared this to maybe their VP or a senior executive, or maybe even a client
Right.
who wasn't logged into the AlphaClips system.
Exactly.
So a couple of the highlights on here, you pointed out the headline, the publication, graphic, the source. You also have an estimated time to read the story. That's a unique feature where our artificial intelligence is analyzing the volume of text in the story and giving you an estimate of how long it would have taken you to read the entire thing if you hadn't been given the condensed alpha clip. We find that it's a good relative indicator, especially if you're looking at your results and want to choose the story that has the most content. You can quickly look for one that would take the longest time to read and use that as maybe the example you want to share. Sorry to interject there, but thought I'd add that.
That's fine. Perfect. So then if you click on the title, it's going to give you, if you click on the title of the website, it's going to actually give you a breakdown of that print, that web source article or the actual print article. And then you click go to source, and it's going to take you to the web page where that article was actually posted at. Or it's going to give you actually the PDF of the actual print article.
Do we have an example of the print article for this, or do you have a?
I'll show an example when we get further into it.
Great.
Yep. Okay. So next I'm going to show you, I know a lot of you probably have contacted me already regarding your universal credentials that you could get in and complete all the tasks with it, which I actually, if you don't know that information, I will actually give you my contact information later on in the call so you can reach out to me to get that information. Or if you already have the credentials for your print portal, it's the same as that.
Right, so just to underscore that, if anyone's been using our print portal, we know you all get our morning email reports, but if you've been logging in to do searches on your print articles or put together press books, that login that you've been using is the same login for your AlphaClips platform. That will be both for the desktop version as well as the mobile app. And we'll go through that again just to make sure everyone understands.
Exactly. Next I'm going to show you the actual AlphaClips platform itself. So once you have your credentials, you would go to alphaclips.net, and this is where you can log into AlphaClips. You go ahead and put in the username and password and then sign in, and it's going to take you to the AlphaClips dashboard. Here you can see that it's intuitive. So if you have several different profiles that we were searching for, your agency, you have several different clients that you're searching for, we actually break it down for you in different folders so it's easy for you to find your data.
So I might add there, as Ken mentioned, for our agency clients who have us tracking news for their clients, they may have 4, 5, 10, 20 clients that they're working for, we can put all of their results into individual categories so you can click through and look at them separately. We also have the ability just for our organizational clients who maybe want to track news about their company, but also want to track competitive news and maybe legislative news or industry news. Maybe they have 2, 3, 4 categories that they want to keep separate. We can architect a design for you where you can keep those isolated, and Kim will show you how to then peruse your results based on those different categories.
Yeah. So just to kind of start, here you see under the coverage, you should see clip today, and then you'll also see clip yesterday, and then after clip yesterday, it will start giving you a date. And this is just to let you know when this was clipped. It might not always be the actual date of the publication of the article. Web will be that date, but print may be a day later based on when we get that newspaper into the office for our readers to clip it, and based on if it's a weekly or a monthly publication also.
And that's a good point, Kim. The clipped date as a means to look at your results is important because we look at both ways. If we go with publication date, and let's say it's a newspaper that's a small weekly newspaper, doesn't have their content on the web, and maybe is only accessible 3 to 4 days after publication, theoretically, it could be buried in your results and not show up when you think it would. If we run on a cycle of production, it can better mirror how you might be working. You might come in, look at your results for today, and then wait till tomorrow when your new report comes in, and everything on that report tomorrow would be newly processed content.
Mhm.
Now, we'll talk a little bit later about what we're doing to increase the speed of news, and that's probably over the last 10 years of digital clipping, the last 12 months, the most important thing we've done is increase the speed to which we're able to clip your stories and get them to you. No longer is our daily publications 2, 3, 4, 5 days late, and weeklies are 10 to 21 days. Now daily publications are same day, and weekly publications are either same day, maybe next day. Everything is much faster. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah. Just to kind of further down to this, then if maybe you are searching for an article that was clipped a few days ago, we actually have search functionality in here, which allows you to actually search for the clips based on date and even a keyword. So you can search by putting in a keyword. I'll just put bitters. And then you can actually click here, and it gives you a date range to search. So you could click on, let's do the 1st through the 15th. So what that's going to do, sorry.
And then the 15th.
And then the 15th.
So it's just a single click.
Right. So it's just a single clip. Don't double click like me. Single clip, and what it's doing now is once you hit search, it's going to search for all the results from that date range using the keyword bitters up here. So it might not be a keyword that we're actually searching for, like engineer, which you will see highlighted here. This is the keyword that pulled in that alpha clip, but it's searching all the text of those articles in your portal to find the word bitters.
And this is really good. It's a similar function that we currently have in the legacy print portal, where you can go in and do keyword searches or data mining of your results. That's what's going on here. Let's say you have 500 clips amassed in your Alpha Clips archive here, and you want to find any mentions of your CEO, or you want to find any mentions of a patient that generated some news exposure at your hospital. You could type in that keyword and pull up just a subset of those stories from within your greater results.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it would be similar to if you wanted to create maybe a press book or a volume of specific stories. However, right now, if you wanted to create a merged PDF of that content, we still have that being done in the legacy print portal and not in here.
Exactly. Now with this, there are some functionalities of sharing these alpha clips, which is a really good functionality right from the alpha clip itself. You don't have to do anything else except for select these little icons over here on the right-hand side. So the first option you have is to pin the article, and this allows you to save that article for later. So maybe you found some really good articles and you want to go back to those. You can actually just pin them, and what it does is it will highlight in yellow or in orange and let you know that you actually pinned it. That pin will then go over here on the left-hand side under pins, and I'll actually go in and show you that in a little bit. The next option that you have is you can actually share these articles straight to Facebook. So clicking on the Facebook icon, it will actually pull it up for you, and it will give you a little summary along with the title of that article, and all you have to do is click post, and it's going to post that information right to Facebook for you.
So this will go, if she were to click post to Facebook, the Alpha Clip summary of that story would be posted on my Facebook page. That might confuse my friends on Facebook, so I'll let you cancel out of that.
Right.
But that shows you how easily it is to share your Alpha Clips from this platform. We'll also show you how to share it from within the mobile app.
Yeah.
But there's some extended sharing functions that Kim can also point out to you now.
Exactly. We also have the option to share it to Twitter, also through Google. And then there's a few other ones here. So you also have the WhatsApp app, and this is Telegram. You can also email it through email just by clicking on the email icon, and this will be linked to whatever email that you have connected to your computer.
So if you're at a desktop, the email client that you're using on your desktop will launch and open an email and put that Alpha Clip in it. It's handled a little bit differently on the mobile app. Now, two things. Kim mentioned two apps, the WhatsApp app and Telegram. Since we provide the service globally, There's some social networks embedded in here that are not so prevalent in the United States, but more popular in other foreign countries.
Right.
Obviously, if you use them, great. If you don't use them, you can just disregard them. But one of my favorite features is the copy link tool that Kim can show you now.
Right. So if you click on the little chain link here, what it does is it automatically copies that link for you, and it allows you to either place it into a browser just by pasting it, or you can actually paste that link into your actual email. So you don't even have to copy it or anything. You just click the little icon for it, and it copies that link for you. So I think that's a great functionality too, Todd.
One thing I like about that is if some of you are preparing what I call executive summaries for maybe a certain department or an executive or your CEO or president or whomever, you might be currently copying and pasting links that you have to hunt and find and copy into a Word document or into an HTML email. This is a one-click copy that you can then paste into that Word document or email, again, saving you time from having to hunt down a link to something you want to share. It's especially helpful if you want to start delivering a more concise and condensed executive summary to those key stakeholders within your organization.
Right. Exactly.
One other thing I thought you might point out is the general news on
definitely.
the left-hand side.
So we'll click on general news, and this really just, it's not searching your keywords or anything. This is actually just searching for the headline news that's going on right now at any given time.
This is a feature we added because we were finding more and more input from beta testers and those who we sought out to help provide feedback on the direction of development, wanted to be able to access important news, key news, that would help them be informed for the day. So just above general news, you see your clips. That is your area for results. That's your specific content. Pins, just below general news, is where you're saving special stories that you want to be more easily accessed. General news gives you news from around the world related to different categories like you see here: science, politics, business. And if nothing else, it can work in two ways that I like. Is one, if you're the type of person who likes to roll over in bed and look at what stories have been breaking today, this is a constantly updated feed that will be giving you current news as aggregated by Reuters. Now, we selected Reuters from a number of available outlets because they do a very good job of compiling verified journalistic articles written by journalists. They're generally an unbiased news source, so they can really serve all of our clients without being biased one direction or the other. The other reason I like that this news feed is that if something is breaking during the day, it could be good news, it could be bad news, it could be a political upheaval, whatever it might be, you can easily access the general news tab and see what stories are running on that. And you can move forward then as an informed person. Potentially, some of these stories could have impact on stock prices or the industry you do business in. So incorporating this general news feed is a great value add. It doesn't cost us anything to provide it to you. It's just part of the service and the value we're building into it.
Exactly. And another functionality I like about this too is that it shows you other websites that this main story was posted on too. So just like the clustering in your Alpha Clips, it clusters these stories too.
Now, in the sake of time, I think we're going to move on to the mobile app. You want to show them the pins?
Yeah, I want to show them pins real quick just because I want to show you the clustering aspect in here. Just because this one right here, it shows you, this one has 78 different hits where this story hit. So it was probably an AP story. It was pushed out there, and it hit on 78 different websites. So I like to show this just because it shows you a great idea of what that clustering effect is.
So if you click on the headline for that one story, that takes us to the isolated Alpha Clip. We see the headline, we see the date it was posted, we see a bullet on the content and what keyword. We see the Alpha Clip it ran in environmentguru.com on March 12th, and to read that text would be approximately 1 minute 52 seconds. But there's 78 more stories that appeared after that Alpha Clip. We've rolled all 78 up under that, And you see a combination of wire services, other websites, even TV station websites. So this is an outstanding example of how much time can be saved for a client who has a story that hits the syndicated wires and the syndicated news sources that are populating web pages.
Exactly. And another thing I wanted to show you under the pins is what the actual traditional print article looks like. So for example, this article ran in the Omaha World Herald, and then it was also ran in the Independent. So if you click on here, it gives you the summary of the story. And then just like with your traditional print that you see today in the legacy reports, you can view the PDF.
So this is an image most of you are going to be familiar with, your press clippings as it appeared in the publication, with the metadata, the metrics at the top, all of that information.
Exactly. And another thing you'll notice with this is that it gives you the time that it takes to read. So on here, it took 7 minutes and average it would take 7 minutes and 52 seconds to read the article itself. But when it was reprinted in the Independent, or the Independent picked the story up, they shortened it, and you can see it's down to 2 minutes. So if you would click on the Independent, you would notice that the article, when you view the PDF, is much shorter.
And I would probably speculate that that's due to the localism of this story. An Omaha area athletic director is going to be a bigger story than it might be in the Grand Island Independent. Mm-hmm. And so shortening it for that audience in central Nebraska is probably appropriate.
All right. So now to get back on time, we'll go ahead and we'll show you the mobile app.
The interesting thing about the mobile app that I've really enjoyed working with is how fast it works. It's not a kludgy, slow to navigate, slow to load system. It simply, after you log in, it lets you do what we've already showed you, mm-hmm. but do it using the touch features that your mobile, either Android or iOS device uses. Okay. This first page I'm going to show you is it's a combination of 4 screens that you would find inside the application. It uses the click-through interface so you can drill down deeper and deeper depending on how much more information you want to see. Moving from left to right, your first clips page will show you today's most recent alpha clips, and as you scroll further down the list, you'll start seeing aging clips. Yep. Now, if you found a clip that you wanted to look at, you can click on it simply by touching your mobile device screen, and it isolates that alpha clip so you can see what publication, how long it takes to read it, and were there any subsequent stories related to that alpha clip.
Right. And it gives you the bullet points, too, for the summary.
If you move to the third screen from the left, you see the full text of the alpha clip. And now here you can read the text, see your keyword in context, and understand that story. But here's where you can toggle between the text and the image. If you want to read the text there, you can. If you want to see how it looked in print, you just touch the print square at the top, and it toggles you to the fourth screen from the left, or the last one on the right, to show you the article. Using your 2 fingers, you can stretch that article to zoom in, move it around the page, whatever you would normally do with any image on your phone or iPad.
Right, and it does the same for the website, too.
If this was and we showed you a newspaper article, but if it was a website, rather than link to after the text, you could toggle to the page that the story was on.
Exactly.
Other features in the mobile app are also found in the desktop is the ability to search for stories and isolate them based on date. So we have a filter function. If you want to look at last week's articles, you can put a start date and a stop date, and it'll isolate those for you to peruse at your leisure, or if you're under the gun for a meeting, you can look at them quickly.
It also gives you the general news. So that's kind of how Todd was saying, if you're a person that wants to roll out of bed and see what's going on in the world, go straight to your mobile device, go into Alpha Clips, and it's going to give you that same general news feed in your Alpha Clips mobile app.
And I have to admit, I don't even get out of bed to read this in the morning. I just put my glasses on and grab my phone and see what happened overnight. Right. But I digress.
Exactly.
Again, this is the pinned page, which Kim explained before. Is there any difference that you see between the mobile app and the desktop?
No, it's exactly the same. It's going to pin the articles you want, and then you can unpin them if you don't want them anymore in there anymore.
So the beauty of that is whether you're moving between your desktop computer or your mobile device, the interface, the results, the navigation is all going to feel very familiar to you.
Exactly. And so if you pin something in your mobile app, it's going to also pin in your desktop and vice versa. And then you can also share them through the different applications I showed you earlier. You can share it through Twitter, Facebook, based on your phone. If you have an email linked to your phone, you can email it straight out from there also.
One of the differences of the mobile app is we don't embed the sharing options in the application. When you click on the share option of the application, it's accessing your mobile device's functionality for sharing. So right now, let's say you're on YouTube and you want to share a video, it would pull up a screen like this on your iPhone, and whatever installed social network you have, it would let you share across those. Or you could text it to somebody, or if you have an email client installed on your mobile device, it would let you.
Or you can even airdrop it.
Or airdrop it to your MacBook or whatever. Again, I'm going to encourage you, if you have any questions, go ahead and add them to the chat box in the lower left-hand corner. We're going to come back to those as we get to the end of our webinar today.
All right. So if you need to reach out to me to get any of your sign-in information, here's the phone number you can reach me at, and also my email address. You can reach out to me with questions, sign-on information, update anything that needs to be updated, add people, anything you need to, you can reach out to me.
You can also, if you're currently working with Jean Saucier on the development side for adding services, you can reach out to her. She is well-versed in the AlphaClipse platform as well, and she can walk you through all of this equally. One limitation I wanted to mention, just in case anyone was thinking this in the back of their mind, is there any copyright issues? If you're not logged in as a user, you'll be able to see the AlphaClipse and the information that we've shown you for the AlphaClipse, but you'll not be able to drill through to the resulting image of the article or the web page.
Right. And then there's one other thing I want to show you. I want to show you where you can actually find the actual our apps at. So right from our emails, our AlphaClipse emails that you are getting sent every day, the functionality is right in here. So you can either go to either your App Store or go to the Google Play Store and search for AlphaClipse, all one word, or if you just click from here on your phone, it's going to take you to the app stores and allow you to actually purchase it, or it's free, so it allows you to download it and actually put it into your phone.
Kim, let's go through that one more time. Can you close this screen?
Yes, I can.
Just so everyone knows how easy it is to download the AlphaClipse app. Currently, you're all receiving, or you should be receiving, a second email newsletter each morning that is in this format. Underneath the very first story are going to be two boxes like the large box we show you right now. You can click on whichever one pertains to your mobile device, and I would suggest if you're getting email forwarded to your phone or your iPad, click on that from that mobile device, then you can simply download and install onto your mobile device. It's that easy. There's no cost for the mobile app. Just download it and install it.
Yep. And it remembers your login. So once you sign in for the first time, it will keep you signed in and allow you to get that functionality all the time.
So we just passed the 30-minute mark. I'm going to try to make sure we get you out of here in just a few more minutes. Some of you might be wondering, hey, Todd, this looks great. What are the next steps? Well, the good news is you don't have to do anything. We're going to do it all for you. So as you have seen, hopefully, in your inboxes, you're currently receiving the AlphaClipse newsletter. You already have an AlphaClipse portal where the desktop functionality can be found. All you need to do to access that desktop is go to alphaclipse.net and put in the credentials you currently use for the print portal. Again, if you don't have that, reach out to Kim at her email or give her a call to the phone number on the screen. She can help you. Also, if you want additional training for your team, I know we're doing a very broad overview today just to educate a large number of our clients on what is AlphaClipse and what's coming up. But for specific training of your team, you can schedule that with Kim and she'll find a time that's convenient.
Exactly.
The next thing I wanted to talk about is the transition. This is going to occur coming up in the month of April. The press clipping searches and results are not going to change, but web content is being added for all subscribers in the AlphaClips platform. During April, we will be decommissioning the legacy morning report and moving all clients to the enhanced AlphaClips format. So right now, you're running in parallel. The legacy reports that we've been running since, I believe, 2009, fall of 2009, those are arriving to you between 7:40 a.m. and 9:40 a.m. currently. You're also receiving the AlphaClips newsletter concurrently. Usually that goes out with a 9 a.m. push. Mm-hmm. In April, or during the month of April, you're going to see the old report go away, and the AlphaClips report will be the one left standing.
And that will be coming out. We'll change that to 8 a.m. so you get it like you normally did before, first thing in the morning.
If you have any questions or concerns about that, please don't hesitate to let us know. We want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, is excited, and that everyone on your team that currently uses this information knows about the transition and feels good about it as well. Now, the next part of the webinar is some frequently asked questions, and we're also going to go through the questions that have come in during the webinar. If you are out of time and need to run, we completely understand. However, if you want to stay on for another 4 to 5 minutes, we're going to answer these questions, and hopefully that will satisfy those who had to hold their questions till the end. First question we have is, how many users can be logged in at once? The number really isn't limited if you each have your own login. So if you only have one login, let's say it's T. Murphy, and you share that currently with someone in your office, you both won't be able to be in the system at the same time.
Correct.
But we don't charge for additional logins. We can provide you a second, a third, a 10th. Maybe you have 20 people on your team and you want them all to have logins. As long as they're within your organizational family, we can give you a login so you can all access it at the same time.
All right. Next question, how many email recipients can we have on the newsletter? That's unlimited too. So if they're currently getting the newsletter, the traditional legacy reports, they should also be getting the newsletter today too. And if you want more people to receive the newsletter, all you need to do is reach out to me, and I will get them added so that they can receive the newsletter too.
I see one question we have from Laura. We have multiple employees in our organization who receive the media portal. Will they all now receive AlphaClips? They certainly can. We may not have enabled all of them during March. I would suggest sending an email to Kim. Let her know who you want to have receive that. If there are people that are already getting the legacy report, we can look into your account and see who has a login and replicate that for you. But go ahead and reach out directly to Kim to get additional logins. One question I have here is, and obviously this is always an important question, what does AlphaClips cost? For our existing clients that migrate during the April transition, we anticipate no more than a $50 per month increase as it's spread across your entire account. So depending on your service mix and how complex or what the geographic region is, if you're statewide, regional, or national, we don't anticipate anything costing more than $50 as the entire service is reconfigured. All the benefits shown here today will become our new level of service and replace our legacy press clipping service. How fast is AlphaClips? Well, I tell people it's lightning fast. But we touched on it a little bit in more practical terms earlier in the session. To say how fast AlphaClips is, I think I have to back up a little bit and say what we've done prior to the data getting into the AlphaClips platform. So our relationships with publishers mean that we now get the data pushed from them to us very early in the morning. We actually start selecting articles around 5:30 a.m., and so many of the key daily papers from around the country are already read and in the system before that 7:40 a.m. push. So that's where it starts. Weekly publications also are getting into the system much quicker. Same day, early morning. Everything has been accelerated. So when it gets to the AlphaClips platform, much of the wait is already over. Now it's just a matter of how quickly it gets pushed to our customers. We send data to our Alpha Clips recipients, desktop and mobile app, every 15 minutes. So the biggest delay, once it's been processed, would be up to 15 minutes.
Okay. So you may be only receiving the one newsletter a day, but you can go to your Alpha Clips platform, the desktop or your mobile app, and those clips, anything that's coming throughout the day will be in there. So whether we clipped a new article here, a traditional print article, or whether a web hit was picked up based on our web reporting.
Next question, will Alpha Clips include my social media, TV, and radio results? Short answer, yes. Long answer, not right now. We're currently doing some research and development on integrating television, and this will be another first in the industry, kind of groundbreaking thing. The same Austrian company that designed the artificial intelligence behind our print and web product here is analyzing the television content that we generate and trying to figure out how they can make it accurate, concise, without the same journalistic conventions that are used in print media. In television news, you don't have the lead paragraph, the secondary paragraph, subsequent paragraphs. You also don't have a headline to a television news story or a radio story. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at creative ways to integrate your TV and radio, but we've already found that we can integrate the social media.
Yes.
One of the concerns we have when we integrate social media, since social media is the media that is amplifying messages, and the Alpha Clips is trying to show you the origins of your stories that are being amplified, we could be adding a lot of, I don't want to call it noise, but downstream results in the social media that could add more volume to your clips within the Alpha Clips platform. It's not a bad idea. We're doing it now in a beta test. We just want to make sure when it does get integrated, it's integrated appropriately so you don't, so you find great value in it. We've gone 50 minutes. For those who hung in there, thank you for the time. Again, we're going to let you go and get back to work. Please reach out to Kim for your credentials, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get a hold of us. We are here to help you.